You're watching News 8 This Week with Jim Mertens.
The November elections are 8.5 months away, 261 days to be exact. There has been a groundswell of attention to how the elections are held, with scrutiny at the ballot box like never before. It comes at a time when it's getting tougher to find people to work at voting precincts large and small. We talked with Iowa's Secretary of State Paul Pate about what we can expect in the next 261 days and why he's confident that your voice, your vote will be heard this year. You were very proud of 2020. Is it somewhat disheartening when you hear people that don't believe the election was fair in Iowa?
Well, people are going to always voice some concerns, and that's their right. But I think the majority of Iowans clearly were satisfied with the election results. And my job is just to keep giving them the facts, making sure they understand how we do it in Iowa. And I have confidence. Iowans get it. That's why we have record voter turnouts, and we'll keep on that same path.
But what's happened since 2020 has been remarkable. Iowa legislature has enacted new laws, and we've seen, I take it as Scott County, where the auditor resigned saying that she just faced too many threats, she and her staff. 2020 ended up being kind of ugly after the election.
Well, there was some backlash, clearly. I won't split hairs, but the auditor in Scott County was retiring well before the election. She may have said that contributed to why she was thinking about it. But I think the results of what we saw in this election is that Iowans got a fair, open election. They believe the results. And there are those, though, who clearly want to see even more done. But I just want to remind them all the great things we have got in place. And one of them is poll workers. The fact that these are your friends and your neighbors. These are bipartisan teams. These are the folks who are there every step of the way to make sure that your best interests and the elections are run properly are being conducted. And we're asking for a little more help on that front.
Are you worried about security in future elections? Because you do see this kind of groundswell of anger towards the vote and the vote count, that people that may not believe that it's being done fairly, you believe it's being done fairly, your poll workers believe it's being done fairly, yet there could be confrontations at the polls.
Well, we work very hard with our county auditors and the poll workers to give them the kind of training so they can deal with any type of situation, whether it might be a conflict of someone's concern how elections being run, or whether it's a natural disaster. We make sure they have those. We partner with law enforcement. We make sure we have a safe environment. I want to be very careful about how we look at the national scene, and even within the national scene, you may have some hot spots here and there. But I think when you look at the vast majority of all of our polling sites around the country, particularly here in Iowa, we run pretty safe, calm, cool, collective elections. And COVID added a few tensions, if you will, because we were having to do some distancing, and we were trying to come up with ways to be able to do it in a safe way, but also give everybody their opportunity to vote. And I think we did a pretty good job at that. And we're going to look forward to going into 2022 and doing even more.
Our thanks to Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate. And still ahead, after years of no options for patients with recurrent cancer of the white blood cells, now there's new hope.
Immunotherapy has been the holy grail, really, of cancer therapy.
More on a newly FDA-approved therapy for mantle cell lymphoma. It's coming up this week in Your Health.